Hey everybody, this is Sidetrack Sunday. Welcome to the Rick Bailey version of Sidetrack Sunday. No, it is not the fifth week. Oh, I got my YouTube going. I'm a dope. There we go. Okay, so now it's not in my ear. Always a kink somewhere. No, this is not the fifth Sunday. It's the fourth. Ray is returning from vacation and wasn't prepared to do a stream, so glad to fill in for him. We've got some good things happening today. Got some people that are going to be stopping in. Let me bring up our first guest, who is always my main man, my right-hand live stream guy. Jerry's in the house, hanging out with us. Hey! Our second guest is also doing a tour with us. And he is strolling around. He's our guy on the streets. He's the man of the hour. Let me welcome up Heath.
What's up, gentlemen?
New York City. How's it going, bud?
It's going fantastic. I'm going to try and cross the street without getting hit. And if I do that, it's going to be a good night.
Awesome. And last but not least, for his first live appearance on the Foltz Bailey Railroad at the Rick Bailey channel, back in the train room, we've got John Foltz. So everybody welcome John. We got to do some coordination because I am literally like 5 feet away from him. So most of the time, John's going to have his microphone muted, but he's going to be back there working, doing some train stuff and getting the layout ready. We are going to do a layout update, so I will have to run back there. And like I said, we have to do some things with some microphones because we're gonna wind up doing an echo if we don't. So just bear with us when that happens. It takes a couple seconds just to switch over. Yes, Heath.
Am I hearing you correctly that the reason your railroad looks as good as it does is because you have somebody else working on it, not yourself?
I am not going to confirm that at all. Not one bit. Will I ever say those words ever?
It's like unpaid help.
Yeah, it's like unpaid help. Here, John, John, I'm going to close the door for a moment so that we don't get any feedback. I'll unmute your mic because I'm sure you've got some comments as to what Heath was talking about. So who does most of the work, John? Oh, he just muted again. There you go.
Me.
You? All right. Is that with
other than wiring and track work? I'll give that to Rick. That's not my forte.
Yeah, the wiring and the track, but it was your track plan, and yes. I've given you credit for that in the past. So I taught John how to use. I didn't actually teach him. I just kind of showed it to him and installed it on his laptop. The Atlas Railroad design program. And I give him a quick overview of, hey, this is how it works. This is what you do. Here's how you connect two pieces of track. And he ran with it. And I think we went through like 7 iterations of different ways that we have changed the layout. And this is what you see now on these updates is what we're stuck with. I don't think we're going to be changing much as far as the rail goes. Guys, I'm gonna put you on hold for a moment because I did forget one thing. We are gonna switch over here and do the intro so that we can get everybody to, if I can get the right screen to come up here. Here we go. All right. So over on your left, my right, or maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's my left, your right. These here are the shows of the week. Take a look at all the shows that are popping up. These are all the live streams that come through. If you don't see your show and you would like to see your show up here in the list, contact one of the guys from STS. John was nice enough to put this together for us. I believe, don't hold me to it, but I think we're only doing updates to the list like maybe once every quarter, so every 3 months or so. Just because of our schedules and John's schedule, really. John's the one who's doing all the work. So yeah, if you want to see your name go up here, if you've got a live stream and you want people to attend to it, just reach out to one of us. We'll get the info from you, and we'll get you on the list. Absolutely. And if you haven't noticed, over here in chat, there's a couple people over there who look blue, and they've got there's little wrench next to them. These, I call them the Smurfs. If you haven't seen them before, and I'm sure you have, those are our moderators. I want to give a big shout out to all of the moderators on my channel. They help to keep not only me on track, although we are sidetracked, but they help to keep you guys in line and anybody else who pops up in chat. So just want to say thank you guys for hanging in there and giving me a chance to make a fool of myself as I have. So we're gonna let this scroll through. It should be done here in a moment. But I did mention earlier in my announcement that today is Christmas in July, and although I am not doing anything for Christmas, we are not bringing the tree back anytime soon. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Why not, right? So. That concludes the. Oh no, we got some more. Is that the end of it? Yeah, I think that's the end of the videos. So let me throw that back off. Put me back over here on the cam and the logo, and I'll get the guys back up that are all hanging out. Sweet. So Heath, where are you at the moment?
So this is my apartment behind me. If you notice, I've got these small little doors to enter my. No, this is a Con Ed building. So this is the big huge door of a Con Ed building, but I'm actually gonna walk up to the cathedral, or is it St. John the Divine, the cathedral, and I'll be there in about 5 minutes. So I'll show you the front of that when we get there as well.
Awesome. Do you have anything special planned to show us, or you're just out getting some exercise?
Just out getting some exercise. I may get naked depending on how things go, but for the most part, just getting exercise. That's it.
So is that you that does the naked cowboy in New York? Is that really your alter ego?
So I interviewed for the position, and unfortunately, I didn't make the cut. But they said it was my singing, not my physique, that lost me the role. But you know, who's to really say what it was? But
gotcha.
Yeah, I think.
Wow, that is some awesome architecture.
Yeah, that's the small one. The big one's coming up in a second. We'll get to that one.
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, while you're walking, I'm going to throw John up on the big screen. So John is over there. He really didn't give me much of an idea of what he's going to be working on while he's back there. I know he wanted to change some of the ballast, the color of the ballast, and darken it up a bit. Looks like right now he's using a Woodland Scenics pen to color some ties. While John's doing that, and while Heath is walking to his next destination, I'm going to run over to my left here and pull up the participants list and just say hello to everyone. Oh, wait, Heath's somewhere. There we go.
I don't know what that statue is, but it's scary. So I thought I'd show it to people.
That is scary. It's like a sun or a moon and some winged creature.
Yeah, we're going over here to this guy, if I can find. There we go. I'm gonna go over and we'll take a look at this guy in a second. But yeah, let's
sounds
say hello
good.
to people.
Sounds good. So hey, we got a bunch of people here. Jerry, let me tell you who we've got so far. It looks like Opa Dodge, Anthony Dodge is in the house. We've got Artie is in the house from the Aussie American Model Railroading Channel. I also have some pictures later I'm going to try and bring up that Artie sent me from some tractor trailers and rigs that he was making from 3D prints. Vinny is here, BNSF 6951, CP368 Productions. I believe that's Tim. Tim is in the house. Dragon Lover is here. Dwight Curley is here. Flying Crow, Robert, thank you for stopping in. My very good friend Grandpa Rails is also here. Thank you, John, for stopping in on the West Coast where it's Nice and sunny, we know. Inked Rails is here. Iron Horse Root is here. Thank you, Brian. James Galton's in the house. Jerry, of course, you're here. You're on the list. Joe Rader's here. Ian from the Lehigh River subdivision is here. Lynn McCurdy. Greg from the Mid-Summer Railway N Scale is here. I've actually got a new subscriber that just popped up this morning. Mr. Jimbo Trains, he's here. Thank you for subscribing, Jimbo, and I hope you like what you see here. If you'd like to join in, just let me know, and we'll get you up here. Of course, I'm on the list because I'm here, and you see me because I see you. Ron Brights is in the house. Ron, thank you for joining in. Roy Eltham is hanging out also. We've got Santa Fe Bob. Bob's down there in chat also. John 2 from the Schuylkill River Valley is here. John, thanks for being here. Steve 87th PSAP is hanging out. My good friend, the Train Freak, is hanging out in chat also. And last but not least, oh wait, my participant list is moving. Oh, not last, second to last, only on the list, always first in my heart. My sister Tina A is over there in chat. And last but not least is Weber Model Railroad, and that's only because he's got the W in his name. All right, so we're going to flip over and back to see Heath here. Tell us what you got, bud. You're muted, pal. We can't hear you. But that's a beautiful church.
I just said the most amazing stuff. I don't think I can repeat.
I apologize. I should have said something sooner.
This is a cathedral, St. John and Divine. If you notice, it's not finished, though. You can see there's a piece over there. There's no piece over here. And it's supposed to be a cross, but they actually sold this property over here, so they don't have that side of it, and the other side of it isn't finished as well. So it's kind of, another one of those churches out there that is just cathedral. It's not finished.
Oh wow!
But this
so they use it?
It is, yes. It's used. I was here for an event. They have a lot of arts programs here. And I asked this guy that looked like he knew what he was doing because he was wearing a robe. And I figured nobody comes to a cathedral in a robe if you don't know what you're doing. So I said, what's the difference between a cathedral and a church? And what he told me is a cathedral is more of a community center, whereas a church is more of just a religious building. Or not just, but a religious building. So they've got a huge pipe organ inside here. They've got a bunch of artists in residence that do different stuff, but yeah, it's in use. They do events, they do community stuff. Is that the church on National Treasure? Maybe. It might
be. It could be.
I don't know.
It looks like it, but
it's a very famous, very famous cathedral in New York. It's not the one. Oh no. The one in National Treasure, I think, was the one on Fifth Avenue, across the street from Saks Fifth Avenue. This one's actually on 112th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. So this is not that one. But I thought on my next stop I'd head up to Columbia University and we can walk around there a little bit. So
awesome.
I'll be there in a couple minutes.
Maybe we'll learn something. Stop in the library, check out some books.
I was thinking more that we just sit on the grass and reminisce about the days when life was simpler.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Absolutely. But yeah, you can see there's no. If we look here, there's no little parts sticking out. It actually. They were working on it and actually caught on fire and burned down. And instead of rebuilding it, it's just kind of, they're not really going to rebuild it. So it's, another church that's unfinished.
Wow, so strange.
Let's read Anthony's comment. Officially, cathedral defines a church which has a roof shaped as a cross. Based on the Latin word for cross, it can also denote the base church of a Catholic sector bishopric. I don't know.
Sounds good to me. I'll take your
Yeah,
word
it sounds
for
good. I mean, the guy in the robe that I was talking to said that he's the head guy for this cathedral. So,
Okay.
I don't know, and maybe he was simplifying it for the Jewish guy in me, trying to make it simple. But yeah, I mean, it's the stonework here is actually an interesting story as well. A guy named Simon Verity was the head stone carver, and when I lived on the 9th floor of the building that I currently live in, he was my neighbor. He lived next door to me.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, now he lives down in Pennsylvania.
Wow. See, all the good people come down this way.
Eventually.
Container Man wants to know when was life simpler?
When I had less responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. When we all
When you were
decided
10.
to grow up in age.
Well, I didn't decide to. It was kind of forced upon me.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check in with John. It doesn't look like I don't know, he's doing something over there.
There's a fire station.
They got the little
How
Dalmatian
cool is
out
that?
front. But yeah, this is engine 47. Oh, I need it back.
Engine 47.
Just a small firehouse, not a big one in the area, but this building was built
Still
in
does its job.
1889. Hey, it puts out fires. That's all that matters.
That's what matters.
Absolutely.
All right, so Heath, I'm gonna let you walk. I'm actually gonna run back into the train room, and I'm gonna give everybody an update on the layout and check in with John and see what he's doing over there. So bear with me a minute, guys. I gotta mute my mic, and we're gonna have John unmute his, and then this way we don't get any crosstalk. I can still hear you guys from back here, so we should still be okay. But definitely, Jerry, let me know if anything sounds.
Oh, hear you. Oh, there you go.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to grab the microphone here, and the first thing that we're going to show you is this thing that John built. This I didn't have an idea when this was actually being built of how it was going to turn out. I'm a very visual person.
I didn't either.
John's saying he didn't either. I'm a very visual person, and when he explained this to me, I didn't get it. But what you see in front of you is it's a tunnel portal built into styrofoam, and this is probably the first time that we've ever done anything scenic. I've never laid grass before. I've never used plaster before to make these type of rock walls. And the tunnel portal that you actually see there, although it is a train portal, it did come from the Woodland Scenics website. It's one of the things. We're going to use it as a vehicle tunnel, not a train tunnel. And I'm not sure if you can notice from the angle that you're at, but way back many years ago, I did a video about making tunnel portals from plaster. And this portal was actually one of my disasters. But we put it back together, and it just looks old, and it looks decrepit. So I'm going to get in close here, and I'm going to show you some of the things we did. So this piece, it's just going to be a background piece. It's going to sit around the wall. We put grass on the top of it. John did an awesome job with that. The front of this is actually, it's plaster, all these rocks. What we did is we used the aluminum foil method. We just took a piece of aluminum foil, crumbled it up, and then we poured plaster into it, and it came out looking like this. And then we just hot glued that right onto
the piece of styrofoam and then painted it. And it looks like a rock structure. And then, of course, we went a little further than that, and John put some grass and some moss on there, and we're just going to make it look old. Oh yeah, show that to the camera. So this is it before it was painted. Go closer. So that was when it was all plaster. So it's just going to sit off in the corner over there. And then this section over here, where you see this track, here, I'll put you up there. That's going to be an abandoned piece of track. That's where the old UPS building is going to go. And it's going to basically sit there. What you see there is just an abandoned parking lot that we're just going to put some grass and some weeds in. And that tunnel portal is what fed that facility, or at least that's the story goes. What I find fascinating is how we never really had any story for the layout. But as now we're starting to build things and make the scenery, stories are coming to life. We've got the story of the abandoned building, or at least how it was built and why it became the old UPS facility. We now have this tunnel portal that fits in there, and the tunnel portal is basically the old access road for that particular building. In front of it, we're going to eventually build like a gate and a do not enter sign so that people that live in the town know not to use it. What else did we do? Oh, so John, the other night when I put out the ballasting video, if you guys haven't seen it, I suggest going back and taking a look at it. It was just a real simple demo of how I do ballasting. So I taught John my method, and that's what he did over here for that track.
And it's the only correct method for ballasting.
Is it the correct method?
I don't know. I'm just going to keep telling people it is. I have no idea. You think I know how to ballast?
I'm not complaining. If I did it right, I did it right. On this side of the layout, we're going to kind of create another tunnel portal there. You're not going to do that one? Okay, we're not going to
put some backdrop scenery maybe up there, and have it that was a road that the tractor trailers would get in and out to make deliveries to delivery bays that are on the side here, which will be facing that way.
Okay.
And the other side was actually, this would have been the glass windows and doors. It was on the main warehouse when Rick built, and that would have been where the employees would get in and out of their access to the building.
Right. So I still have to build a set of steps for that, but little by little, it's coming along. I just want to apologize. I cannot see. Oh, actually, I can. Let me go over here. I forgot from John. We can do comments from here. Okay. So I see everybody over there. All right. Other than that, over here in this corner, don't mind my junky cabinet. Where John started building a park. It's going to be a little bit elevated to kind of cover that corner and give it some kind of appeal, something to look at. And we're going to call it Mackenzie Park in honor of my daughter. We do have, I'm not sure where it went. Oh, over there. I'm not sure if I told you guys before. Underneath of some of that rubble is the actual distribution center, which was the original UPS facility, but that's going to become Grayson's Distribution, and that's in honor of my son. Of course, over here, this is where I did the ballasting video from. So we put this little section of grass in, and I did finish ballasting that side of the track. I do have to go back and clean it up. We did some rocks. Those rocks that are there were painted by me. They actually started out from this, and these were from just a rock mold that we got from Woodland Scenics. And then I threw some shrubs in there, some grass in there, just to make it look a little cool. Other than that, there really hasn't been anything else other than, oh, hey, look, the layout's been painted. So I wanted to say thank you to Jerry. John, I'm going to put you back over here.
Thank you, sir.
You can fix your camera how you need. I'm going to run back in the other room. I'm going to mute you for a moment. If I can find where the mouse went.
I would like to say thank you to Jerry also.
You're welcome, Heath.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right, so let me get myself back up here on cam. Here we go. All right, so I've been looking for
That's
a
nice.
way to paint the layout, and I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with it. We weren't 100% sure of what color we wanted to do it, but Jerry did a video a little while back and about painting his layout. And one of the things that he mentioned on his layout was, hey, go down to Home Depot and check in the paint section. There is an oops counter. And that's where they do all of the return paints or the rejects and stuff like that. So I took a trip down to the local Home Depot, and I went into that section. I had to ask the lady where they kept it. It turns out it was a little cart right up by the register or by the paint making station. And I asked the lady where it was or, what was available. And she at first said, oh, the counter's up front, but there's nothing on it. I said, okay, no problem. Let me just look so I know where it is when I, I'll stop back eventually and find something. And turns out I went up to the counter and there was 1 gallon of paint on the counter. And when I looked at the color on the paint, it almost looked like it was a brownish, purplish kind of color. Really didn't look like what I wanted. But then I had the lady open it up. And when she opened it up, it was blue, like darker than sky blue. Almost, I'm going to be honest with you, it was probably as blue as Jerry's shirt is now.
Really?
But then when the lady said, oh, well, what we did is we threw some orange into it and we shook it up, and that's how we got to the brown color. She said, hang on, let me show you. So she put the lid back on and she shook it up in the machine, and sure enough, when she brought it out and opened it up, it looked like, the only thing that I can think of to explain it to you, because I know the camera doesn't really do it justice, it looks like dark chocolate. But when it's in its liquid form, yeah, you ain't kidding. When it's in its liquid form before it dries, it actually looked like milk chocolate. So yeah, boy, was my sweet tooth going at that point. So I remembered that Jerry said you can have it lightened if you want, or they can throw some tones into it. Whatever you want to do, they'll help you out with. Well, I decided not to do any of that. I bought the gallon of paint. It cost me a whopping $9 for a gallon of Glidden paint. I was shocked. But I brought it home and I showed it to John, and we did some test pieces, and he was happy with the color. And we went to town and we just painted the entire layout and only used about a quarter of that gallon of paint. But everything is painted and it's ready to go for any kind of, designs or anything that we decide to put on it going out. I'm going to just scroll back through chat here just to see if I missed anything important while we were hanging out. Heath, where are you at now? What's going on over there?
Just walked through Columbia. This is the Miller Theater, which is the theater at Columbia University. It's a proscenium house. You can rent it out and do your own shows, or I think Columbia does some of their shows there. So I just thought we'd keep walking north. But you can see Columbia is a pretty old school, so the architecture's really old and interesting. Nice bars on the windows to keep the kids in, or maybe, or probably to keep me out, more like it. But yeah, on the other side of the street over
So Heath,
here is
how
Barnard.
far are you from where you live?
15 blocks north. So this is
Nice.
pretty cool.
Oh, that's
This is
not
kind
far.
of the neighborhood just north of me. Yeah. But so it used to be.
So did you
Columbia
attend
on
that
this
college?
side? No, I went to NYU.
Okay.
But Columbia used to be the men's school. So the men used to
Okay.
go to school over here, and all the women used to go to the school over at Barnard. Now they're all mixed, but that was at one point, how it was split up.
Yes.
Because once you sit men next to women, they lose their minds and they can't learn anything anymore. Or at least so I'm
That
told.
is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, so this is totally different than like the New York that I've been to. I've been to like Madison Square Garden area, and this is like
So Madison
totally opposite.
Square Garden is 34th Street, and right now we're up at like 118th Street, both
Right.
on Broadway. But that is one of the cool things about New York City is as you go from neighborhood to neighborhood, you just go from one sort of area to another. This is Riverside Church right here, and then if my first walk that I did, we passed by Riverside Church on the other side of it. But this here is Barnard with Riverside Church in the back. This is a new Columbia University building. And we'll walk up to Sakura Park. Maybe we'll see. Maybe there'll be some blossoms on the cherry trees. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is my New York City. This is the city I know and love.
There you go. Now, how long have you been in New York City?
Since 1991.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much consistently, except for when I would like travel for work and stuff like that. I've been living here and seeing it change over time.
Change is inevitable.
Absolutely, but yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
People come to New York and they see the touristy places. They go to Times Square and stuff. A lot of people don't get to see this part of New York. It's very different.
Sure.
Here's a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like night and day.
One of the whatever spires of Riverside Church, and then there's another one. This is you enter here, and that'll take you into like where they have all the like smaller rooms and other stuff. Like it's not the main cathedral. The main church space you enter from this side of the building.
Cool. Yeah, New York is definitely different at night. It's you get an awesome view there, with dusk coming, and you get to see kind of both sides at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty.
It's pretty.
Yeah, this building right here is really neat too. It's a really old building as well. I think if I'm not mistaken, one of these up here used to be like the convent for the church or something like that. Where the nuns used to live. It might have been this building. I'm not 100% sure. But you've got kind of the modern architecture on this side, and then over on this side you've got the old architecture. And then here's
Inked Rail says Inked Rail said, I thought the oops counter was how many times we blame Heath while filming our videos.
Yeah. Could be. But you can kind of see the sunset in front. The sunset sets just over there. The Hudson River is like 1 block over.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to check back in with John. John, so what you're
Make him
doing now
sleep.
is just, yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. He's a little off camera. You're working on darkening up that section of track there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to darken up the ballast a little bit, make it look like it's weathered. It's been there for a while. So I'm just taking a teeny bit of water and mixing it with the black glue or black paint, and then just using the little dropper to try and move it around on there and make it a little bit darker. Since we did the ties actually white. I'd seen it in a picture. There were white ties on an abandoned sidetrack. So we went with the white color. So the ballast kind of blended it in. So I'm just trying to darken the ballast up so we can see the white ties.
Right. I did forget to mention that. Another thing that I just remembered, when I had first brought this idea of this abandoned track up to the STS guys when we were chatting one day in Hangouts, and Jason actually said, "Hey, instead of wasting a turnout to put a turnout over there," both him and John from Schuylkill River said, "What you should do is just put the track there, but don't put the turnout, because a lot of times what railroads will do is they will take out the turnout so that they don't have to maintain it. And they'll just take that section of track and just make it into a straight track, which makes total sense, because why would you keep, the gearing and the turning mechanism and the point rails there and have to keep, refreshing them every few years whenever you turn over the rails. So we just measured out where the turnout would be or where the straight track would come into. And then we just started putting it was just a spare piece of track that we had and laid down there just without the turnout. So that's going to fit right in with the whole abandoned track theme. Someone had just asked a question and I missed it as it scrolled by. Rick Bailey, what are your plans on weathering the tunnel portal? So we did do a little. I know it's hard to see on the video, but it was a white tunnel portal. And what happened was we actually had another portal prior to that. And when we tried to weather it, all of the paint and the watered down weathering techniques that we were trying was soaking into the plaster. And it turned it such a dark color. Neither John or I were happy with it at all. So then I remembered something that Jason told me. See, I give all my credit to the STS guys. They tell me everything I need to know. What I did is I took the tunnel portal and I coated it with, I have a spray can of, yes, that was the original. Right. I'm not sure if you can hear John back there, but he's saying the first one was so dark, it kind of made it look like Dracula's castle. And it blended in with the surrounding area. Like you really couldn't tell the difference between the rocks that were on the side and the portal that was in front, even though the rock structure was different on both sides. So what we did is I took a new portal, or we put together another portal, and I coated it with, did we just repaint it? Oh, that's right. We tested it on a spare. That's what we did. So we had a spare portal and we did the first painting on that. And that's the one that we didn't like. So then we went and I took this portal and I coated it with 3 coats of a matte finish just from a rattle can. So I have this, I forget who it's by, might be a Tester's spray can, but it was a matte finish. and we put the matte finish on there, and we gave it 3 separate coats so that it would seal in the plaster. And then when we put on our homemade version of a weathering liquid, it settled into all the cracks very nicely, and that's kind of where we left it at this point. I'm not sure if we're going to add more paint to that or darken it up a bit, but right now we kind of both like it the way where it is right now. I'm going to check back in with Heath here. Heath looks like he's got some train tracks under him. Where are you at now, buddy?
Yeah, so I'm at, what is this, 123rd maybe, or 122nd? And I can't see the sign. It looks like 123. This is the one train where it exits from underground, and it's going to go above ground for the 125th Street station. So when I first got here, there was a subway that went through, and I'm just waiting a couple minutes. There should be one that comes by any moment now. And we'll
you've got a green light there.
We'll get to see one of the trains come by. Yeah, they should be by in like every 8 minutes or so.
Okay,
would be my guess.
So is it still called a subway when it comes up above ground, or is it a trolley at that point?
We still call it a subway. It's not really a trolley, I guess, because it's, multiple cars. I would consider a trolley more a single car type of vehicle. Technically, I guess, like if you were in Chicago, it would be called the L, or the elevated train.
Okay.
It is an elevated section of the subway, but I do think at least New Yorkers still call it subway. We're not very original with our naming.
Because Jerry, we have trolley lines that go underground also here in Philadelphia.
Right, yeah. Uh-huh.
So and they're multi-card, right?
The L is in the Broad Street. No, the L is in the Broad Street subway is.
Right, but the L
multiple cars.
So the L is all above ground, right? It's all.
No, it goes underground at 40th Street to go under the river to get on the other side. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
but the trolley lines. The trolley lines that run like under Market Street to get back from like University City, are they all single card or are they multi?
Yeah, no, they're single card.
Okay, all right.
The trolleys are single card. The L and the Broad Street subway are multiple. Like up there in New York, commuter trains, really. No.
Train Freak had a question.
How many tracks are there, Heath? 3?
Yeah, there's 3 tracks. This track over here is the downtown track. This would be the uptown track, and uptown tracks here. So what this track here is for is trains that get taken out of service for repair will stop at 96th Street, and they'll take this center track up to 137th Street. Underground, it's the only underground yard is as far as my understanding goes in the subway system, and extra trains, non-rush hour, will go up to 137th and stop up there. So they use that center track for that. It used to be an express track.
Is that third rail electric or is that diesel?
Yeah, third rail.
Yeah, it looks all third rail.
Third rail. Okay.
It's all third rail.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right here, that
the white
thing. That's the wood that's covering the third rail on that side.
Yeah.
And then on this side, so the third rail is actually on different sides. Is it on different sides?
Yeah.
Technically it's on different sides because the subways don't really turn around; they just go up and back.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the things. If you fall into the subway tracks, you can't actually just go up against the wall because the fins of the third rail on the opposite side will catch you in the ankle. So you're actually better off if you fall into the subway tracks that the train comes. you want to lay face down in the center.
In the
It's
house,
supposedly the
yeah.
best thing to do, but not that I plan on ever doing that.
Yeah.
Here comes another train. I don't know if you can see make out the lights are coming right over here. That train should be coming towards us in a second.
Now, what do they call
So-
this line?
This would be the IRT, Interborough Rapid Transit Line. It's the
IRT.
red line. The numbers are the one. This is the 1 train. It used to be the 1 and the 9. They've discontinued the service on the 9. Now it's just the 1 train. So if you look closely, you might be able to see it says 1 on the front.
I know Big Bill used to operate these, but I don't know which ones he operated.
Sorry, Jerry, I couldn't hear you with the train coming by.
I said I know Big Bill used to be an operator.
Yes, he did.
I don't
Yes,
know
he did.
where he operated.
I believe
On which line.
I believe his depot was in Brooklyn, so it would not have been the IRT line. It may have been. I don't know which line it would have been. But I don't believe it was this one.
So Jason wants to know why John's doing all the work. Just to answer him real quickly, that's just the way it works, Jason. I'm a very good supervisor. I just show people how it's done and then tell them get it done.
I think Jason's his man. He doesn't have somebody like that.
John's yelling from the other room. He said, "I work for food." That is so true, Tim. Life has a way of doing things we don't plan on.
Dwight says, "Don't get mugged, Heath." Where'd he go?
It is kind of funny. A lot of people think New York City is like dangerous, and everyone's worried about people getting mugged. I actually feel so much safer in New York than I do like when I go down to my dad's house in New Jersey. There's like nobody around when you walk around at night. I'm much more scared.
Funny story. In 1980 something, I went up to Madison Square Garden for a music show. I took the hubcaps off my car because I didn't want them to get stolen.
We were talking about that the other day.
You hear all these stories about New York City, you know. You just think about things, don't steal my hubcaps.
There was a movie in 1979 called The Warriors, and it was this movie where basically people were fighting and killing each other on the subway. And because of that movie,
I remember that.
People thought New York's so dangerous.
Yeah.
And it really sort of tainted the world's view of New York. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were
places you don't want to be.
There were times where you would avoid certain areas of the city. But in general,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Every city is like that. Yeah. It's not just New York, but
right. We're in Sakura Park, by the way, which is a Japanese park. The Japanese donated cherry blossoms to the city, and they created this park in this gazebo. Basically, it's all sort of Japanese inspired.
Oh, awesome. Inked Rail said, Rick Bailey, you could add vines or moss or fallen rock at the bottom of the rock face to make it look older. That is the plan. I was actually working on making some homemade vines, and we do have the moss that we bought and some grass and those rocks that still need to be painted. So that will all get put down there. once we get that area all scenic, those will be the little pieces that get added. John, you making all right out back there?
Do you like throw food in the room every like 5 minutes to make sure he keeps working?
You know, I keep a little mini fridge down here just so that he doesn't dehydrate himself. And yeah, a couple dog biscuits every so often. Sometimes I'll throw him a cheesesteak, and then he comes out to use the restroom, which I appreciate, and he is very, very trained.
Joe Rader says it's pretty clean up there, Heath. The streets are clean.
Oh yeah, it's New York City.
Yeah. It's not like Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is much dirtier, especially if you're around Love Park.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Here's the Riverside, whatever it's called, the Riverside Church, and then over here. There's somebody buried in this building. I don't know if anyone wants to guess who's buried in it. I'll give you a clue. I walked past it before, so.
Is that Grant's tomb?
It is.
Yeah.
Is Grant in Grant's tomb?
Grant and Grant's wife.
What is the building?
Where? 122nd.
No, what is it?
Riverside.
What is the building?
It's a memorial
It's a
for Grant, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole building?
The whole building. It's kind of a whatever they call it, a national landmark, whatever building.
Do they have anything else going on in there?
There's, I think, a statue of his horse.
That's a pretty big building.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see this. Here's, if people want to try reading this. If you want me to read this, I can read it, but...
yeah, I don't think we can make it out.
It's the largest mausoleum in America. Its monumental size reflects the public admiration for Ulysses S. Grant, Union General during the Civil War and 18th President of the United States.
Wow. That's huge. Can you go in?
Not right now. They seem to have it all blocked off for whatever reason. They've got all these... let's see. There's all these fences in front of it.
Security gates.
Yeah, but normally you can go in.
Somebody's going to vandalize it.
Please enjoy your park by keeping 6 feet apart. General Grant National Memorial. Yeah, so it looks like they got
Safety
some color
first.
changing lights going on.
That's pretty cool.
And up there too, actually, at the
That's
top.
huge. Yeah.
Lynn McCurdy seems to think that Jimmy Hoffa's in there.
I thought Jimmy Hoffa was in the end zone of Giant Stadium.
I think they proved that wrong.
I think they did too.
Yeah, they proved it.
Artie from Oz American Model Railroad thinks that your ex-wife might be in there.
Mine?
He said Heath's ex-wife.
I don't have an ex-wife.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got an ex-wife?
Well, you don't anymore.
Yeah. Exactly, Rick. Shh. Don't tell anybody.
Inked Rails had a question a little while ago. He asked what I was going to use as far as like vines and moss. I can't remember the exact brand of what we bought for the moss and stuff, but yes, we do plan on doing. Oh, there, John's got it. Here you go. Lichen, something like that.
Lichen.
There you go. So we got a dark green one, and then we've got kind of like a yellowish color also.
And you got enough to do 20 of them things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we do. I might be giving you some.
It's like a giant bag. Maybe I'll
It was on sale. I think it was only like $7 or $8 over at Nickel Smith's. So I picked it up.
Only on the north side.
Is
that true, Ian?
Dwight Curley says New York can't get dirty when no one's around.
Oh, there's people around.
There's people around. I think they just clean up.
Especially in this area. I mean, if you're in Times Square and stuff and it's all tourists, you know, the tourists are the ones that make a mess of the place. People that live here, you know, they take care of it.
It's not the case in Philly.
Oh, well.
Lynn said go to Google Maps so you can follow Heath around.
Yeah.
Do I take the ankle bracelet off? Only when he has to pee, because when that's upstairs. So he gets that put on. I walk him upstairs. He does his business, and then I walk him back. It's kind of like walking Fido every so often.
It's like the Green Mile.
This thing keeps jumping on me. Trying to catch everyone's comments, but it keeps jumping the screen on me.
So, Rick, after John does all the work, what are you going to do on the layout?
Run trains.
Ah, okay.
Run trains. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. I'm not really much into operations. I just want to see them running around, but I don't want to play with it if it's not complete, you know.
We need to teach John how to unmute himself a little better so that we can hear him cursing at you.
He's laughing now.
He was earlier, Keith.
That's why he put me back here, so I can curse all I want.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
He stays back there just for that purpose. Lichen normally goes on trees only on the north side. Thank you, Mr. Ranger, sir. That's from Jason.
That's what I wanted to ask Ian. Is that true, Ian? Ian's a tree dude. It's funny. Did you see what Ian said? Rick's kept John in the basement so long, he's pictures on the back of milk cartons.
I like Steve's comment here. He says, I love how Rick keeps saying we when he's not the one involved.
That's how it works, Steve. That's how it works, Steve.
Usually Rick uses I a lot.
That's true. I did this and I did that.
Yeah, that whole story about you going to Home Depot to buy the paint, was John actually the one that went?
No, actually, as a matter of fact, I tried to get John to go, but he was too busy at the moment. John's always busy doing something. It's hard to get any work done around here when John's not around.
Yeah, we've met your wife. We know how it goes in your house.
This is so true. So true.
There's Rick doesn't have orange jumpsuits. He lets you wear plain clothes.
Yeah, it's a plainclothes facility.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't like to do laundry.
See, the funny thing is, I want you to look at John's screen. The lights go out every so often. There is a sensor light switch on the wall that control the above lights. And if John doesn't keep moving, the lights go out every so often, and John's got to do like a jumping jack to get them to turn back on. I think it's hilarious. I just sit here and laugh.
You know, if you knew any IT guys, they could probably set something up so that didn't keep happening.
That's true. That's true. But where would be the fun in all that?
I get that. Oh, so quick story. I went to the Queens Model Railroad Club last Friday night, and I'm going to try and go back next week. It's this cool little club. It's been in this building for like 75 years. It's basically in the basement right next to all the electric meters and everything, but it's a really cool layout they got set up. So I'll try at some point to get some video or something from there. But it's
that would be cool.
HO scale.
Yeah, it's inferior. It's inferior. You shouldn't even go back.
I know. I can't find any local N scale clubs.
If you go back, you should try to convert them.
Yeah. I think the current layout they've been working on since like 1980.
See, look, he's leaving the room on his scheduled break.
Scheduled.
Keith, you should tell them about the wrongs of their life and how they're doomed.
Unfortunately,
so Heath, are you still in the same park?
I'm in Riverside Park now. I'm heading back south now.
Okay.
So this is, if you watch my very first video, my first walk around video, I'm walking opposite of the direction I was walking in the park at the beginning of that video.
All right, so
it's
just so it's
nighttime,
familiar
so you
to
can't
all,
see anything.
So just so it's familiar to all of us, can you turn around and walk backwards so we know where we are?
And Nancy,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, now it went dark.
Really messed them up.
Well, I'm trying.
I know.
I'm trying to switch
I know
the
what
camera.
he's trying to do.
I'm trying to switch the camera.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to do.
I know you wanted me to walk backwards so I would trip and fall, but yeah,
I would
don't
never
know why,
wish that
but
upon you.
This takes a long time to switch camera orientations for whatever reason.
I guess you're using your gimbal?
Yes, I am
working
using
good.
my gimbal, and I figured out how to plug the iPhone in without messing up the gimbal too badly. There we go.
Yeah, how do you do that? You can charge your phone from the gimbal.
The charger is in I have a little battery pack that's in my fanny pack now. And, you know, everyone needs a fanny pack when they walk through New York City. So the battery's in there, and then I got a cable. Let's see if you can see. There's a cable here, and the fanny.
Can't you charge it from your? Can you charge it from your gimbal?
No, unfortunately, I can't. There are some gimbals that you can, though, and that.
Yeah, mine you can. Mine. You can.
Which one do you have?
I have the Osmos DJI.
Yeah. That's one of the big advantages of that DJI.
Yeah, I don't use it, but yeah. Yeah, but then like the cord kind of messes your camera.
Well, and that's the problem I've been having, and this cord's pretty light, so what I think I'm going to do is I'll zip tie to the handle so I don't keep yanking on it.
That's a good idea.
And then it should be a little bit more stable.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Why is it a fanny pack when it's in the front and not on your fanny? Because my fanny's in the front. No.
That's where I carry my fanny.
I feel
Lucy says you have a very sexy fanny pack.
Project. Sexy fanny pack. Yeah, it's got a little bit of green to it. You know, real.
There you go. Very stylish. Very stylish.
Yeah. You know, trying to.
It glows in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you want people to be able to.
How's the weather? How's your weather today?
Humid.
Nice.
Very
it's
humid.
too.
Yeah, I picked the wrong week to start walking.
It's all right. You'll sweat good.
I will say
Hey,
there's
Split Rock,
one
welcome to the show.
person. There's one person doing the health challenge that's just kicking butt. They give me
Is there?
updates every so often, but they're doing very, very well.
Who's that?
Well, I'm not going to tell you who it is because then that would give it away.
That's
Well,
true.
I-
That's true. Then you would know that person's number. That's right.
Right. I'm trying to keep it
Yes.
somewhat anonymous.
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, there are a couple people that are giving me updates like every other day, which is really awesome to see. To see the changes. A couple people I haven't gotten any updates from.
Rick Bailey.
Hopefully I'll get some of those, but yeah, it's good. Get
All right.
me out and
Prisoners
walking, at
back.
least. Prisoners back. Watch your language. Prisoners back.
Oh, Chris. Oh yeah. There's the it was Krylon. That's the matte finish. Yes. That we used.
Yeah, you thinking about it, you could have probably sprayed that on your abandoned track to keep it from his painting loosening up your ballast there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I wonder if the yeah, possibly, but I wonder if the paint would actually change the color of the ballast at that point.
But it's clear. No, I'm talking about your matte.
Yeah, I
finish.
see you right. Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
I don't know either. Trying it for the first
What-
time.
Wait, what are you trying to do with the matte finish on the ballast?
Well, Jerry made a suggestion and said you might have been able to spray the matte finish on the ballast and then put the weathering on top of that, just like I did for the plaster tunnel portal.
Yep.
But tell him why, because earlier you were talking before the show. You were talking.
Oh, okay. So pre-show,
the
John
paint.
was asking me. Right, John was making up the mixture of acrylic paint and water, and he was asking me what would happen if I put the water on the ballast, and I told him not to put too much because the water would loosen the ballast, and then it's going to look all messed up from that point on. So that's why Jerry had suggested putting the matte finish down and then do the weathering on top of that, which in theory should work. It should seal the ballast so no water gets through.
Yeah, I do like when I do washes on the ballast. I actually like when the wash kind of like flows into the ballast because then it looks a little more natural than just sitting on top of it. But
Right.
you could always test it. And also,
Yep.
what glue are you using for the ballast? I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, unless you're like soaking it in a wash.
No, just regular Elmer's glue. Watered down version of Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
So, Inked Rail saying here's what I asked for everyone in chat and on live. What is the best way to add scenery? Grass mats, static grass powders from Woodland Scenics. So I'm going to give you my opinion, and I stress that just my opinion. I am not a scenery person. This is the first layout where I'm actually doing scenery on. My previous layout that we had, which was basically just a 4x8 loop, what we did for that is we got a grass mat, we glued it down to some plywood, we put some road bed on it, we put some track on it, we ballasted it, and then that was it. There were no buildings, there was no scenery, there was no grass applied, none of that. So my opinion is whatever you think looks right is the best way. I guess people can argue the point of what's the easiest way, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the best way is. There is no best way. It's however you want to do your layout, whether you want to lay grass down and put a mat down, or you want to do the static grass. I personally am not going to do static grass. But again, if you've got a scene that requires grass to be standing, then you're going to want to do static grass. Other than that, it's whatever you want.
I used
I
a
don't think
grass
there's no
mat
right
for
or
my
wrong
Z scale.
way.
I used a grass mat on my Z scale because I figured at that scale you weren't really going to see the grass standing up. The problem I had though is, and I used contact cement, which I thought would have worked well, but it's all lumpy, the grass mat. And with Z scale, when your grass mat's all lumpy, the track's all lumpy, and that doesn't work. So I'm not real happy with the grass mat, Lucian.
Wonder why it got lumpy.
Probably terrible application technique. I would guess it's operator error.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be your fault. Rick, you're muted. Huh?
So I'm sorry. What was there a question? I was actually paying attention. I apologize. I zoned out there for a minute because my wife walked in the room and she's looking at me and I says, well, what do you want? Do you need something? She says, no, not really. I just want to come say hi to my people.
There we
go.
Bring her on.
You're her people. And she just wants to come in and say hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Jen.
They're all saying hi. You can't hear them because they're in my ear. But
don't leave so quick. We need some Rick stories.
Heath is saying, don't rush off so quick. We need some Rick stories. Jerry said hello. John, you already said hello to. Everyone in chat is... Go ahead, Heath.
Jen, why John's doing all the work and Rick is sitting on his butt.
Heath wants to know why John is doing all the work and Rick is sitting on his butt. She's laughing.
Just like our marriage.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow. I'm going to go back to Heath. Heath, where are you at now? Jeez. I just got wrecked.
That was rough.
Hurting.
It's like a train wreck.
That was a train wreck.
I'm walking on top of the Freedom Tunnel right now. This asphalt you see is the top of the Freedom Tunnel, and I'm at about 106th Street. And I'm coming up on Ellington in the Park, which is a bar/restaurant that is in the park up on 105th Street. So you can kind of you can make out the lights right about there. I like how you deflected, Rick. That was pretty good.
I tried. My ego is a little less boosted right now.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to go back to
care of your wife.
That's yes, that's true. That's true. So Sean McGee made a comment and said, "So this is the first layout John is doing scenery on." Yes, because I'm not doing anything. That John's doing all the work. But yes, John. I don't think John has ever had an actual layout. I believe we have all played with trains, in our time frame. But I think this is the first layout that John has actually been a part of and built. So to answer your question correctly, yes, this is the first time John is doing scenery also.
Yes, it is. I had maybe a 4x6 piece of plywood that my dad threw together and put my HO scale train on, painted a greenish color and dumped some sand on it for the gravel for the tracks, and that was it. Put some houses on there and just ran the trains in an oval.
Yeah.
So Heath, who owns this restaurant?
There's a company. I don't know the parent company, but Ellington is the name of a restaurant. It used to be on the corner of 106th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. The reason it was called Ellington's, at least as far as I understand it, is I believe 106th Street is called or was named like Duke Ellington Boulevard or something like that.
Okay.
So the proprietors of that restaurant bid to manage this location. It used to be a company called O'Neill's, an Irish restaurant, but they outbid
Does
them.
the city
and
own the
now
park?
The city owns the park, yes.
And they just lease it, or guess, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep, they lease it from the
That's
park,
a cool
and it's got
spot.
2 levels.
That looks cool. What's that highway over there?
That's the West Side Highway.
West Side Highway, Rick.
West Side Highway.
Yeah.
West Side.
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Yeah.
Where's Rita?
Rita's on the layout. She's in there hanging out with John. I don't think she likes me anymore.
We can't see in the tunnel today; it's too dark. But that's the that right there is the Freedom Tunnel. The train is right on the other side of that, or I should say, the train tracks are right on the other side.
What's the
of
Freedom
that.
Tunnel?
The Freedom Tunnel is a tunnel originally built by New York Central. I don't remember the year, but it goes from Penn Station. It's the route that goes up to like Albany and continues on to Montreal. The Empire Service is, I believe, the name of the route, and it's it was the way to get the train up there without being on road level. There's a film and or a book. I don't remember if it's a film. It's definitely a book called The Mole People. There was a time period that a lot of homeless lived down there, and they had built out, shanties and everything with power and cooking. And if you go look at
what's going on to your right there?
This is called Hudson Beach. These are the rings. You basically kind of swing like a monkey from ring to ring, and it's I used to do this
up there.
back when I was younger. I did this. I don't do this anymore because now I'm old and everything hurts. But
how's John's layout coming?
John, well, see, this is. I'm regretting bringing John here because now John's spending so much time reading the comments, nothing's getting done on the layout. So I'm gonna have to go back in there and like crack the whip or something.
Should have gave him a computer. Shouldn't have gave him the computer. Should have just gave him a camera.
I had to take an extra break.
How's John's layout coming along? Oh, this is getting real good. What's John's woodworking skills? John, how's your woodworking skills?
Mine are pretty good. I haven't shot my finger with the nail yet.
Oh my God! One time, John. One time.
But it was a big nail.
That is true. That hurt for many weeks.
You literally
Hold
held
on. Sounds like
the frame with your hand.
There.
Okay, so the framework that the layout is built in was all done with a framing nail gun, and it was the easiest and quickest way to put it all together. Although I do regret doing it now because if I ever had to take the layout apart, I've got to basically pull out all those nails, or at least release the nails from the board they're connected to. It would have been better if I'd have done it with screws. But anyway, we were building this section, and I had my hand on the top of a 2x3, and I was shooting a nail in through this side to join two boards together. And when the nail went in, it hit a knot, and came up this way and went right into my hand in this kind of fashion. And it went it only went superficial. It went into my skin, but it didn't hit any bone or anything. But the funny thing is, I felt the pinch, but I didn't know what it was. And I tried to remove my hand and I couldn't. So then I had to take my hand and I had to slide it off of the nail before I could get my hand free of the framework. It was
nice.
It was exciting. It was different.
Train frequency
Now we know why
stand
Rick.
in the middle of the layout so we can just see his present.
Jeez. Now you got John reading comments.
I know. You
Ain't nothing
noticed all the
getting done in
ballast
there,
work
man.
stopped in there. Jeez.
Nothing's getting done in there now.
Well, I got it pretty much colored in now. So I got a little on the ties there, but they stick out
That's
a little. You can touch them up.
I think it's time for lights out, Rick.
Oh, I can turn the lights out. I can even have Alexa turn the lights out on them.
Yeah, you know, it
John,
takes
you got
me
your-
half an hour to get home from here.
What was that, John? It happened anyway. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Thank you, Alexa.
So Heath, I take it you're heading back home, right? Is he muted?
No, it's not muted. Heath, you with us still?
Somebody
It helps
steal your
if
camera?
I unmute myself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you aren't
Oh.
muted on the stream.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're good.
My
Sounds
my
pretty
apartment's off to the left. I was gonna go walk down to the water's edge, and I'm assuming you'll be wrapping this stream up in the next like 4 hours. So I was gonna just
Yeah,
go hang
probably
out
somewhere
down by
around
the water
there.
a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I figured we'd wait around until the sun came back up so you could show us the sunrise as well.
Unfortunately, I'm on the wrong side of the river, or the wrong side of Manhattan for the sunrise. The sun's gonna set way over to my left, or rise way over to my left.
Hey, John, thanks for stopping in, bud. I appreciate all your help with the links and everything. Have a good night, dude.
Night, John.
Good night, John. What is that saying? Good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.
Where's that from?
I have no idea.
What's his name? Good night, Gracie. Who's that dude?
I was going to say Dick Clark. It's not
George
Dick Clark.
Burns. George Burns.
George Burns.
That was the George Burns show. He and his wife was Gracie, and he'd say, "Good night, Gracie." Good night, Gracie.
It's funny we mentioned George Burns. I really want to rewatch those movies, Oh God, and Oh God You Devil, or whatever they call those movies. I want to rewatch those and see if they hold up at all.
Yeah, they do. They're timeless.
I hope so. I haven't been able
So
to
doing
find
some
them
work
yet.
over there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It looks like the highway's been repaved.
There you go.
It's nice.
Streets department at
Tax
work.
dollars are the best. Yeah.
They basically like start in one spot and just kind of repave the whole city, and when they're done, they start over again. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Well, it's good.
It's really impressive how quickly they do it. They go through and they scrape the surface one night, and then the next night they like come back and they relay the fresh asphalt. And it's like they have a whole system worked out.
Not here in Pennsylvania. They scrape it, and then 5 months later they pave it.
We usually do a little better than 5 months.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, do you know where I'm at yet?
Weber Model Railroad. Rick, what is this Atlas track plan? Are you talking about the software? Lynn
I
said
bet
yes.
he is, Rick. Yeah.
So if you go onto Atlas's website, I believe, and don't hold me for certain for this, but on Atlas's website there is a link for software. When you go in there, I believe Atlas has licensed a version of SCARM. I forget what SCARM stands for, but they have their own version where it only gives you the Atlas track
Their
parts.
track. Yeah.
Yes, their track only.
Yeah.
So they'll have all their
Works.
track numbers and their part numbers in there. So the license for that is a little cheaper, but if you get the full SCARM program from SCARM, it'll have all the other vendors. Well, maybe not all the others, but it has other vendors in there. And of course, their license to use the product is higher, I guess, probably because of that reason. But yes, if you go to atlasrr.com and look in the software section, they have a demo that you could download and you can put that onto your machine and try it out. You can make a track plan with it, but it's limited to how many pieces you can use. But you can add buildings, you can add scenery, trees, all that kind of stuff, and develop a layout from there. Just note that any track or turnouts or anything that you use will all be Atlas part numbers.
Can you use Atlas Flex Track?
Yes, there is a an option for Atlas Flex Track, and you can manipulate it and bend it to, its ability. It will not let you do anything out of the bounds of Flex Track. And I believe the smallest curve that you can do is 15-inch before it starts curling up on itself.
So you can't make a pretzel out of it.
No, you can't. Well, you could make a pretzel out of it if the pretzel was large enough. But yeah, you're not going to do anything small in pretzel form.
No Philadelphia street pretzels.
Correct. No soft pretzels.
Right. Which are the only pretzels that matter.
Exactly.
Just so we're clear.
All right, I think John just said that he's going to wrap up and head home. And I think on that note, I am going to wrap up and call it quits. It's 9:30. We've been here for a good hour and a half. Thank you, Keith, for showing us all of New York City at night. It's been awesome. I appreciate you filling in the gaps. Jerry, thank you for hanging out, buddy. I appreciate all your questions and
thanks for having me.
Everything for the show. John, just get back to work. We'll tell people you left anyway. I appreciate you being here, bud. It's been awesome to see you back there and actually working instead of messing around. What is that above your right shoulder? What is that above your left shoulder? It looks like a werewolf in a window.
Yeah, it is. It does. What is that, man?
I have no idea. I know the orange is a flashing light that we have in the room. I don't know what
looks
the two
eyes.
That is funky, dude. Is it?
Behind.
It's the window.
No.
I don't know. Well, listen, if John doesn't survive, let's all say goodbye to him now.
Good luck, John.
Yeah. Yeah, but what are the two little lights above it? The two little white things. Looks like eyes. That's not the light. Yeah.
Looks like slanted eyes, man.
Everybody wants to know. You got a werewolf in the window, John. I'm gonna shut the door so they don't it does whatever it is doesn't come in here.
Lock him in there, man.
That's it. That's it. So, all right, guys. Thank you to everybody in chat for hanging out. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for keeping us all motivated. I didn't even realize that an hour and a half went by. So, great job. Thank you so much. Heath, be safe getting home.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
sir.
having coming on, bud.
Keith, call us
for all
when
the
you get
info.
home, okay, Heath?
Yeah. Text one of us. Let us know you were all right.
Let us know you got home, okay? See
Will
you
do, will
guys.
do.
Have a good night.
See you guys later.
All right. See ya. All right.
White
Jerry,
said that's
thank you
train
again,
freak
bud.
in the
I will.
window.
What?
White said that's train freak in the window.
So, all right, Jerry, I appreciate it, buddy. You have a good night, and
See you,
thank you
buddy.
again for coming in, man.
Yes.
I'll see you.
Take care. Later.
John, should I let you out of there, or you think you're going to stay all night? You're muted, buddy. Nobody's hearing you. Nobody but me.
I think you need to let me out. Can you come take the shackles off now?
Yeah, all right. We'll do, buddy. I'll see you in a minute. All right. Thank you again, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging in. And I believe next week is going to pick back up with John doing the first week in August. And it just so happens that August also has a fifth Sunday. So we get to do this again in 5 weeks. So again, thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Let's keep riding these rails together. See you, rail riders.